It's Mirthe. I'm making this video to talk a little bit about focus targeting in WoW. Focus targeting can be very useful for a number of different reasons. Setting a focus increases your awareness in that you rarely ever are surprised by incoming CC. You can actively monitor outgoing heals your opponents are using before they happen, and you can keep an eye on the buffs and health of more than one person, which can prepare you for incoming burst or let you know when a swap might be a good idea. Outside of awareness, it also helps you peel for your teammates as well as land kills. In Arena, if there's someone tunneling your teammate and you keep them on focus, you could save them with as little as one button press and stabilize the match. As for landing kills, focus targeting makes it very easy to cross CC with your team to create 2v1 situations and pull off a kill that is virtually unstoppable, all while never leaving your main damage target. When you get comfortable with focus targeting, 2v2 matches especially start to become a lot easier to follow. You literally are watching the entire enemy team. You have a lot more reaction time and can call it what's about to happen a little sooner to your teammates. So in this video I think I'll cover how to set up focus targets, some ways of acquiring your focus target, and some clips I have where focus targeting was essential in peeling for my team and landing kills. Before we even really get to focus targeting, we need to make sure that we have a focus frame set up. Customizing this will be different depending on what you use for unit frames. So I can show you what it looks like on Xpearl, because that's what I'm using. So I will set myself as a focus target, and you can see I have focus target or focus frame enabled on here. These are my settings. Yeah, you can do like big stealable buffs, I think. I don't know if you can do that on focus or not, but yeah, anyway, I have my focus target set up over here and the target of my focus target over here. Another thing that might be handy to have is a cast bar add-on. This again will depend on your UI, but I know Xpearl does a cast bar right on the name, but I use Quartz. I've used this for a long time. I pretty much turn off everything inside Quartz except for the target cast bar and the focus cast bar, which they're not in the right spot right now. Need to make sure they're on. Yeah, I need to set up multiple profiles, but yeah, so you can make these as big as you want, nice and long, so you don't miss them. My player one I usually put in between here, and a pet one if you need it. Lock them down, and you can cast your mount to see what it all looks like. Now, how to acquire a focus target. In its most basic form, you could bind a key to set a focus target in the key binding UI. This would take your current target and set it to focus. This is okay for getting into focus targeting and actually getting used to having abilities to target someone other than your main target, but it still requires you to target someone, set them to focus, then change your main target. The way I've been using focus targeting for a while now was with a mouse over macro and a switch macro. The mouse over macro allowed me to mouse over the person or unit frame of the person I wanted to set to focus and hit a keybind. This allowed me to set a focus independently from my main target and immediately get into controlling them. You can also accomplish this in Arena with the Gladius add-on and right-clicking the unit frame. The only benefit to using a mouse over focus macro like mine is it's usable outside of Arena, which can be handy for practice. The switch macro I have instantly switches your focus to your main target and your main target to focus, but I never really got comfortable with this macro and it might not be necessary. Now for the best way. The best way to set a focus target in Arena is to just bind a button to set that person to focus. In the UI, there are keybinds that were added to set Arena enemy 1, 2, or 3 to focus target instantly. This has altered the way people do all their targeting in arenas. What they do is set 3 binds to acquire 3 arena targets as main targets, then using a modifier like Shift or Alt to instantly set arena 1, 2, or 3 to focus, and yet another modifier to target their own party members. You can see I have mine bound to the mouse wheel for targeting. Then I use Shift to grab my focus targets, and Control if I want to target my own team. The main obstacle people run into is it's uncomfortable, it requires at least 3 binds if you play 3v3s, and it's wholly different from the way you've been targeting for years. The fact that so many high-rated teams relate getting used to arena targeting to the feeling they got when they first started using keybinds makes it well worth the effort to me, and it's what I'm currently working on. Okay, so now you've got your focus target set, and you need some macros to get your abilities and spells to start targeting your focus target. There are multiple ways to write a focus macro. Here are some examples of one way to write them. You can also write them so that they cast at focus, and then the spell name. Then the types of abilities you want to be making focus macros for are for things like interrupts and crowd control. For example, things like counterspell, fear, silence, blind, hex, and disarms. When I'm done writing one of these macros, what I usually do is drag it down to my bar, and I place it underneath the ability that's already on my bar that just targets your regular target. What this does is it creates a lot of duplicate buttons for me on my bar, which doesn't actually bother me because it kind of can make it easier to look down and see the cooldown remaining on the ability. Now if you don't want it to be so cluttered and have duplicates of all your crowd control, there's a way to write the macro so they only take up one button space. Now, since this macro takes a modifier like shift or control or alt or whatever you choose, just know that this still requires 2 keybinds to work properly. In that, you know, if you hit it without holding shift, it'll cast at your target. While holding shift, it'll cast at your focus. So the benefit is a less cluttered UI. Okay, so we have some focus targeting keybinds, and we have some macros that target a focus target. On here you'll see I've got my fear, pet silence with this pet, soul swap. I've got some extra dots up here, but I'm actually going to get rid of these later on because I don't really need them. Okay, so I'm going to set my focus target and then my actual target. So focus up here, main target down here, and start hitting some keybinds. So I'm going to throw some dots up on this guy. I'm going to soul swap them, put them on the focus. I can fear the focus and then drain the main target. And then I can fear him again, refresh my dots, take them off him, put them on the focus. Say he's getting low, I can silence without even stopping draining with my pet on the focus target. Now that can translate into you know, having dots up, passing them around, mezzing that target and fearing my main target. There's lots of of ways to control you know, an entire team if you're playing twos. So yeah, that is the power of focus targeting. It is pretty strong, especially on a warlock where you're able to do a lot of this stuff from range, and just keep the whole team basically under your control. Hey, I want to quickly go over some good uses of focus targeting for melee characters. So I'm going to set this guy here as my focus, which is with a mouse over macro. It's right up there. It's wheel up for me. And this guy is set to my target. So focus, target. I'm going to get some slice and dice rolling here. And with subterfuge, I can cheap shot more than one target. So I'm going to focus cheap shot. And really cheap shot. Let's get a bleed going on this guy. Let's get a better slice and dice going. Now let's say I need to peel this guy off my healer. I can focus gouge. Okay, another bleed going here. Let's say he needs a longer stun. So I get some combo points here on my main target, and I'm willing to sacrifice those for peel right now. I can focus redirect, focus kidney. So he's in a full kidney right now, just from focus redirecting. So you can do that. I'm going to get another bleed up here. Now you can get really fancy with the rogues. Like let's say I dance, I can focus step, focus cheap shot, and then cheap shot my main target. And you know, you can do that with Garrote instead. Of course, there's focus blind, so he's blind over there. And another really good use. Let's say you're finishing this guy off. He's in a kidney, you're killing him. He's in a smoke bomb. say this is healer. His healer is going to try and run in and save him. You could just focus kick him as he comes into the smoke bomb. You can see my kick cooldowns going there. So yeah, lots of good uses for melee, and the same goes for druids for sure, warriors. I'm sure they've all got their useful focus abilities. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, and now that all that boring stuff's out of the way, I'm going to continue with the part 2 that'll talk about landing kills with cross CC and how to effectively peel using your focus target across CC. Alright, thanks.